Talking about the roles and responsibilities of being an adventure education leader or facilitator. To start things off, by definition of a leader is someone that puts the group's well-being first before their own. They are someone that participants or students can look up to and not be afraid to approach if they have a question or a problem. They are very unselfish and only wants what's best for their students, and they will make sure that they give their best, leaving nothing in their own tank. When talking about the roles or jobs of an adventure education leader and what I think they need, first, I believe that responsibility is a key component because if anything were to go wrong, a responsible leader would know what to do. They are someone that puts safety first, and safety is their number one priority. If this leader was not responsible, there would be a chance that equipment would not be all packed. And if that were to happen, students would not be able to succeed in their program's goals. They are also someone that is effective and makes sure things or activities are getting done. To do this, they are giving direction to keep the students on top of things. And lastly, I believe a leader should encourage and support their students and show them why adventure education is so cool and why they need to join a class doing adventure education. Moving on to skills that I believe an adventure education leader would need would be activity and technical skills. Are they as a leader competent in teaching knot tying or belaying? Are they someone that knows what they are talking about? I know if I were a student in an adventure education program, I would definitely want my leader to be well mastered with what they were teaching us. It's like, for example, if I were to go to a softball camp, would I rather go to a camp taught by someone who only played junior high or high school ball? Or would I want to go to someone that played college, pro, or even was an Olympian? With that said, they had a lot more experience. I think I would choose the Olympian or the college player or the pro player as well, who had more insight and they could teach me a lot more because of those experiences. Then I would want my leader to have teaching and modeling skills. Are they well versed in planning programs? Are they someone that brings or creates a positive learning environment? Then I want my leader to challenge us, but to also allow us to decide how we will approach a situation or a problem. Also, I want a leader that teaches by example, acting like a leader and modeling that positive behavior. Another skill I want my leader to have would be group process skills, making sure that they understand group dynamics, knowing the sequential stage model, and they're able to guide their students through group development. I also want my leader to monitor group processes, making sure that each group is making strides in the right direction. By monitoring, the leader will make sure no one is left behind and that everyone gets a chance to succeed. Lastly, the last skills I want my leader to have would be decision making and judgment skills. These two go hand in hand, but making a judgment call can be the difference between a good or bad experience. Decisions are made all the time without even knowing it, and I don't want one decision to ruin a chance for a student to make strides towards their succession. With judgment at the top for all leaders' most valued skill, I also want a leader to be proficient in choosing between different behavioral traps. Next, looking at what responsibilities I think an adventure education leader should have. Leading the group is a big one. If a leader cannot lead a group, then what is the point in putting them through a program? They won't be able to trust this leader. They'll be going off doing their own things, and they won't be getting any learning out of it because they won't be challenged, because no one's putting them in their place to succeed. One thing that I noticed when going through school or playing sports is that you have to be flexible. And this is extremely important when teaching skills. No one thing is going to go as planned. And as a leader, they have to show that they are in charge. Next, I want my leader to always lead towards the goals set in the beginning of the program. If they are not challenging their students to progress forward, I feel they are doing their students a great disservice. Then another important responsibility would be to know the area where the program is happening. You want to make sure you know where everything is in case of an emergency, because if something happens, are you going to know, is the building to the north, to the east, to the south? And where is the first aid? Who am I going to talk, or who's going to be part of the plan to help get this person out of the woods or out of a canoe, for example? Do you know what you are going to do? You want to make sure that you know about the history of the culture or the environment that you're teaching in. And you want to know that this person has walked through these parts before. They're not a person that's never walked there and doesn't know anything about the area. If that's the case, the students wouldn't even care for what the instructor is talking about. Next, I want my educator to convey information back to me, either whether it's about weather systems, the geology of the land, or different types of environments that are in the area that the program is happening. And make sure that they leave no trace, showing the students that you want to leave the environment or wherever you're working at just like it was before you even got there, so that the next group of people can do the exact same. Lastly, and most importantly, I believe a big responsibility that a leader should have would be modeling positive behavior. I know I do this all the time, which is just watching everything that my instructors do, or if it's another student that's doing something, and I see how they go step by step through their things, see how they keep a positive mind, whether they are failing or succeeding at the time. But I simply put this as monkey see, monkey do. People don't know that students are watching the instructor's every move. So as leaders, if they are teaching bad behavior, then those students will leave their program with that same bad behavior because that's what they were taught. And they'll develop more bad habits out of it. So it is very important that a leader leaves those students with a positive impression, and that way those students, from that positive impression, they will be able to teach others students that might not have gone through the program, and show them how fun this was. And most importantly, it will give you as an instructor a better morale from teaching in that positive behavior. So that's what I believe the roles and responsibilities for an adventure education leader are.